Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hot Mess. I've got Des with me again.
Hello.
So we actually did a questionnaire of some anonymous. I cannot talk today. We did a questionnaire of some anonymous questions for you guys to ask, and we've got a couple of good ones on here. But it was brought to my attention by two different people now that last week's episode, I completely dodged a whole portion of a story time. Apparently I did not finish the story from the big party that apparently everybody got arrested at. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and then we're going to jump into the other questions. So I actually left off on that story of me and a friend leaving the party to go to the bar. Well, where everybody got arrested at, it's kind of funny. It's not funny. Well, it's funny to me. It's not funny to everybody else. So basically what happened was there was a lot of fucking people at this party. A lot of people. Backyard, front yard, inside, all that good shit. So, there was, a lot of things going on, taking place, whether, with alcohol and, maybe some other extracurriculars. So we decided to go ahead and leave before it got too bad and the cops got called. So about 15 minutes after we actually left the party, a friend of mine calls and is like, "Where are you at?" I was like, we're almost to the bar. Like, where are you at? He's like, "Dude, I just left this fucking party. I hopped over 4 fucking fences. I lost my fucking shoes. They were $250. My mom's gonna fucking kill me." And I'm like, hold on. Like, oh my God. What? Why did you have to hop fences? He was like, "Dude, that was the only way I could get out of the fucking party." And I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, "The fucking police showed up." I'm like, what? He was like, some dumbass was so fucking drunk, walked to his truck that was parked in the parking lot of the church, come back to the party, but walked into the neighbor's house. Fucked up. Okay. The neighbor called the police, because at first they thought it was like, breaking and entering, like a robbery or whatever. And so the police showed up. He was like, me and so many other people, we were hopping fences, running across the neighbors' yards and shit. Actually, I think he said a neighbor from 2 houses down was in the backyard when he ran through the yard. And
shoeless,
barefoot and all. And I don't actually think he got his shoes back, honestly. He may have, but anyways. So everybody basically got arrested. Everybody's parents got called, and everybody that I went to school with in my grade, basically half my grade was put on probation for a year or something like that. Because they were drinking, they had this big party or whatever. I say probation. A lot of people said that they were on probation, but I didn't know that people under the age of 18 can be on probation. But yeah, so a lot of people were on probation for a year. A lot of people got caught, got charged with contributing to minors and all kinds of shit. So my dad actually heard about it because he, at his job, works with a lot of people that have kids that go to school with me. And a lot of their fucking kids were some that got arrested. And so my dad came home the next day or something, was like, "Did you hear about that?" And I'm like, "What? No! What are you talking about?"
I wouldn't do some stupid shit like that.
But I was like, yeah, but I did hear about it. But I told him, I was like, no, I wasn't a part of that. I was at so-and-so's house. What?
I wasn't even there.
I didn't even know that there was a party. I didn't even know we partied in high school. What?
What's a party?
What is that? Can I get a definition? Can you use it in a sentence? But yeah, so that was pretty much the end of that that story. I can't believe I actually left that out because that was like the biggest detail of the whole story. So yeah, we're going to dive into these questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. So this one question was pretty interesting to me because I actually had to really think about it in order to answer. It says, what inspired you to start a podcast? And so I may have told you this before, but like there was a period of time where like ever since high school I've always thought it would be cool to have a YouTube channel. One of my biggest inspirations, Shannon Rose, she's an ex-porn star.
Yeah.
She vlogs on YouTube. She tells story times and stuff like that. And I've been obsessed with her for like, not obsessed, I've loved her for like a really long time. I just thought that she was so interesting to me, how you could go through years and years and years of this trauma, you know, crazy experiences and stuff, and you know, you're not ashamed to actually tell like what you've gone through. You use it to your advantage.
Right.
But what inspired me to actually start the podcast was the very first podcast I ever listened to was Our Thing with Sammy the Bull, which is Sammy Gravano. He was a hitman / underboss for the crime families, the mafia.
Yeah.
He did work with the Gambinos, the Genevese, the Colombos, stuff like that. He actually conducted the largest hit in the mafia history.
Damn.
Where they killed Paul Castellano, whatever. He was also John Gotti's right-hand man. So he actually, his podcast now, he tells stories about his time in the mafia.
That's crazy.
Stories that he tells that he can actually, like, at any moment be killed for. Like,
Yeah.
people will actually come for him if they wanted to, because he tells secrets in the mafia. A lot of things that a lot of people didn't know, or that was supposed to be kept secret, he is now speaking out and telling these stories. There is some things that he does not talk about that, you know, he'll tell you, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to give details, which is probably things that could get him killed.
Oh, yeah.
But when you look at him, you see this like little old man, this little shriveled up old man. He's just so cute, you know. And the dude is covered in fucking tattoos.
And a murderer.
And telling these stories about how he killed this guy and he conducted the hit on this guy and all this shit. And so I was like, you know, wow, like that's really interesting to me. So like by listening to his podcast, I got into other podcasts. What really inspired me to do my own podcast was when I got into Unfazed and Unbothered with Tasha and Camo Camille, because I just thought that they were so funny and like they tell their stories. They also have serious moments, and you know, everybody's got a story,
Right.
You know, so to actually sit and like talk about your story so that it could help somebody else as well as help you, because you're getting it, you're releasing that tension, that frustration.
Yeah.
So that's actually what really inspired me to do the podcast for myself. So this question is for you.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is it? Okay. It says, I want to get in the lifestyle, but I don't know if my husband does. How do I tell him, or should I not say anything to avoid an argument?
Ooh. So this is a tough discussion. It's going to depend on how strong your relationship is, how good your communication is, how is he with discussing things like this. Like, don't just come out and be like, hey, I want to be in the lifestyle. Like, have discussions about it with him to like gauge his interest. If it's something that he is very much adamant, I don't want to do that, maybe, you know, just it might not work for you guys. But if you guys have conversations about it, just have communication open. It varies so much per couple, and it could go either way. I mean, if you want to express your interest in it, you can't be afraid to start an argument, because, you know, your interests matter too. You know, it's not just a, I don't know. I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say.
I feel like, you know, adding, just to add this in there, keeping an open line of communication is the most important thing, or most important part of having a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not, you know, hiding your feelings.
You can't be afraid of what your partner is going to say.
Right.
Like, if you guys have a good, solid relationship, you should be able to discuss things without starting an argument.
And two, I also want to add into that, aside from the lifestyle conversation, having these conversations with your spouse, if you're ever afraid to speak your mind or say, hey, this is how I feel, because you think that it's going to start a fight, that is a red flag, but you really need to reevaluate the relationship with that person, whether, you know, you sit down and talk about it, or you go to counseling, or maybe that relationship just might not be for you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen lots of people, and myself included, you know, when I was, and you've seen it, you know, being with Jake, there was a lot of knockdown dragouts, but we are now on a path of, and we still struggle from time to time, but we're now on a path of, I'm upset right now, so let's pause.
Right.
Let's go clear our mind real quick. We'll just part ways.
And then come back.
And then we'll come back and we'll reopen this conversation. But as of right now, I don't want to say something that I'm going to regret. I don't want to cause more of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just pause. But as far as the communication goes, you
Right.
really need to have that open line.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say that I kind of lucked out. I've never dealt with having to bring it up to a partner, because my partner came into our relationship with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't exactly know how I would broach the subject with someone that's not in the lifestyle, other than having a discussion about it to gauge their reaction. I mean, that's probably coming from a place of trauma, because that's how I used to deal with my ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
Before I would bring things up that I was interested in, I would gauge his reaction to see. That's not healthy, probably.
Yeah, I feel like really anything that you want to do and it's like on your mind, you definitely need to speak on it, because I feel like, especially with that particular situation, if you become really interested in the idea, I'm one that if I have my mindset on something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And if you get something like that in your mind and you're really interested, you always want to have that conversation. And if it ends up not going well in your favor, you need to immediately get it out of your head. Yep. Or it could place you in a situation to where you become so interested that you would potentially go behind your partner's back and do it anyways. And that's a big thing.
I will say that I have seen people that bring it up, their partner's feelings get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Because their partner is like, well, why is just me not good enough for you? And you're going to have to be able to break down that how you're feeling. It's like, I'm not trying to replace you. You are plenty for me, but maybe we can just experience this together with a little bit of fun on the side.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be you going off by yourself and doing things. You can do things together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Because we started off with things together. And then eventually we just kind of branched out into our own thing.
I think it's just a matter of like whatever works.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that was a good answer.
I hope so.
Let's see. Ooh. Who is your role model?
I don't even know if I have a role model, to be honest.
I have one. I actually have a couple, you know, aside from Sammy the bull. He's not really a role model. I
I was
wouldn't say he's a good inspiration. Role models for me, I've always looked up to women in the sex industry, your escorts, ex-porn stars like Shannon Rose, Bunny DeFord. She's a big inspiration to me and to a lot of women, actually, because she is one that's like, I am who I am. If you don't like it, fuck off. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to change anything, and I'm not going to apologize for who I am.
Yeah.
So her and Shannon Rose are probably like my only role models. I probably have others, but definitely those two for sure.
That's cool. I don't, there's nobody that springs to mind because I know humans are flawed. And I just try to be the best person I want to be for myself and to show my kids that...
You're your own role model.
Yeah, I guess. I work on myself a lot. So, because I do want to show my kids to be proud of themselves and not be ashamed of themselves. Mm-hmm. And I just want to be the best me that I can be for them. But...
So you don't have a role model. You want to be a role model. You are a role model.
I try.
I do what I can.
I'm working on it.
Do you plan on doing anything more with your podcast? I didn't really understand this question because I feel like you can take it in a bunch of different ways. As far as like platform wise, would I want to do anything else? Maybe eventually. I definitely want to have this podcast as a form of, I guess, inspiration like I had with other podcasts. People that feel ashamed with specific things. I want to normalize those things.
Oh, yeah.
I want this to be a safe place. When you think of something that you're like, damn, like I'm ashamed of that, I want you to hear this podcast and be like, you know what, like I'm not the only one, or damn, like other people do it too, because there is a lot of standards placed out here in today's society that really should not be there. So I would definitely use my podcast for that. And as far as anything else goes, like I think it'd be cool to like have merch, fucking t-shirts with like funny sayings that we've said, or whatever. Some fucking like cool hats and shit.
I'd wear a hat.
I'd wear a hat too. Some like cute ass tank tops,
Some booty shorts.
Oh, booty shorts. I actually just bought a pair of like lounge shorts from Playboy. It's got Playboy across the butt. I love Playboy. Their clothing is so cute and comfortable. So let's see. Does Des consider herself a part of Hot Mess or just a guest?
I don't know. I've been on every episode, but I think that's up to you, considering it's your podcast.
Well, I will say I consider you definitely a part of Hot Mess. Like, I consider you a host as well as me, because you're on every episode.
All three.
All three. Well, now the fourth. You've helped me come up with like titles. You're kind of down with whatever we talk about. We haven't had anybody else come on. Really and truly, I do consider you as a host. Like, I feel like if anybody else like ends up coming on with us at some point, like they would be like, the guest. But considering you started this with me, you're still here with me, I definitely consider you a host or whatever.
A part of it. I'm a part of something.
Cool. Let's see. Oh, this one was funny. If you don't like needles, then why do you have tattoos, Des?
Look, okay, tattoos are art. Tattoos are, just surface level needles. Mm-hmm. Needles, like injection needles, and you know what? A spinal block needle is like long as fuck, okay? That's a scary ass needle, and it's a big ass needle. And you get them in a scary environment, in a scary situation. So fuck that needle. Injections, I'm okay with, for the most part. I don't like getting my blood drawn, because again, That's a big ass needle. And it is not just surface level. Tattoos are not bad.
I will say though, whoever said that question knows us.
Because did we talk about having tattoos?
I think we may have mentioned tattoos, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like whoever asked that definitely has seen what you look like. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't
Possibly.
know. Well, I will say that I can't always use just the surface area being fine because I also have piercings. That's definitely not surface level. But that was a quick and easy thing.
Yeah, like it's like boom, you're done.
Yeah.
See, I love tattoos and I love piercings, but like my anxiety is so like fucking broad when it comes to getting piercings. Like I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. I get there, I sit down, and then like I'm sweating, yep. I'm nervous, and then like I almost want to pass out. Like the most painful piercing actually that I've ever gotten almost did make me pass out. They actually had to get me like an ice pack to like place on me when I got my hips done. I actually still have the scars. I got dermals in my hips.
Oh god, dermals.
Yes, so painful. The guy didn't know what he was doing. He actually had to do it twice on each hole because he didn't punch enough skin out. So he had to go in twice. I had them in for over a year. No, excuse me, 2 years. Had already had my first pregnancy. Already had the baby and everything. And then like 3 months postpartum, they actually rejected.
Fuck.
And completely pushed themselves out. Which it wasn't really painful. It just kind of was like, bloop. You know, it took about a week over time to actually fully push themselves out, but it wasn't painful.
I could never do dermals. The whole, like, getting a plug of your skin taken out before something's inserted. Yeah, I can't.
That's painful. Okay.
I have a high pain tolerance, but I think that would, nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I definitely, I have a high pain tolerance as well, but I will say I was a bitch when I got those dermals done.
I bet.
I cried. And then when he was like, fuck, I was like, what? He was like, we gotta redo it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That is something you never want to hear your piercer say. Fuck. Like, what the fuck did you do?
What do you mean, fuck? You have a needle beside me or in me. What did you do?
You're the professional here. You're not supposed to say fuck.
Yeah, no, that's a big no. Please don't. I wanted to get up and walk out so fucking bad, but like, I'm like, fuck, I'm already here. I'm already getting this painful shit done. I'm not going to walk out of here in pain for no fucking reason.
Right.
So I just hunkered down and I dealt with it.
Oh no.
Like, honestly, it was a 10 out of 10 in pain.
Oh God.
Like, tongue, nipples, industrial was oh my God, that shit hurt so fucking bad. But I would honestly give that an 8 out of 10 compared to the fucking dermals.
Going through cartilage fucking sucks.
Yeah. Like, but when you're going like through the cartilage,
it has
like
to be
this
lined
way,
up so perfectly.
Yeah. When you're going like, you know, horizontal through the cartilage, like that hurts. But when you're going vertical and you're going through like the dead center, like straight down, man, it fucking sucks, dude. It was not fun. But I mean, I've had it since I was 14. You know, wouldn't get the other side done. No. No.
So I only have one cartilage piercing. I stopped at one.
Yeah.
Because the healing, it wasn't so bad getting it done. The healing process took over a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's how my nipples were.
Mine was done at Claire's, though. No, it was done at Walmart. with the piercing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fucking
I was 14. You know, it's fine. We're fine.
Well, every ear piercing I've got, which I've got the regular earlobe piercings, and then I've got doubles, or the second piercing, and then I've got my industrial. My industrial was done with a needle, of course, but like both sides of my earrings, or like, you know what the fuck I'm trying to say, they were done with a gun. Never had a needle put through my ear like that, except for my industrial. Next question. This is one that cracked me up so fucking bad. because we have literally talked about our husbands in every episode.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at some point or another. This question is Des single?
No. I think first episode, we talked about me and Waldo being in the lifestyle for 12 years. We've been together for 12 years, married for 8. We're still together. So...
You got a bunch of fucking kids.
Yeah, got a whole basketball team worth of kids.
Dude, when I seen that question, I was like, oh my God. Like, at first, I was just going to ignore it. I wasn't even going to hold it or keep it or whatever. But I'm like, no, like, I can't do that. That shit's so fucking funny. Because I was, like, in tears when I read that question.
We've talked about them in every single episode so far. Multiple times. So... Are y'all listening?
Like, I don't think that people actually sit and listen, or this particular person, because, like, there's no way that you sat and listened to every fucking episode. Unless, the only pass that I will give is if they did not get a chance to listen, but they still followed, and they just wanted to go ahead and ask questions anyways, and then listen to this episode.
Maybe.
That is the only pass that I would give. And even then, I don't know.
So, sorry to break hearts. I am not single. My bad. Sorry.
She's a swinger, though.
I am straight, too, though. Bear in mind that. I've broken a few hearts at the club. Apparently, there's a list of women that want to hook up with me. There's a list. I'm like,
Did you get to see the list?
No, but they tell me that they're on it. There's at least 6 women that have been like, I'm on the list trying to fuck you. And I'm like,
what is it, a fucking waiting list? You're going to be waiting a long time.
Fuck yeah, you're going to be waiting a long time. There's a lot. Yeah.
There was this guy when I was in high school. I had this boyfriend. And this one guy come up to me one time and he was like, he said something about, when's it going to be my turn?
Oh.
I'm like, what? Like, this is a guy that played and joked around all the fucking time. He was a class clown. So I'm like, what? Like, go on now. And he was like, nah, for real, I've been waiting on you for a while. I turned around and looked at him and was like, hold your breath.
Damn.
Hold your breath. Because, no.
It's awfully presumptuous of you, sir.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of people out here that they got some balls.
For real.
The audacity must be on sale this year. This last question is, can we be friends? I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too.
Appreciate ya.
For real.
Of course we can be friends. You can come on the podcast with us as well, and we could, talk about shit. Stuff and things. Yeah, I actually, like I said, a lot of questions on there, they were kind of weird. First of all, I'm not going to answer questions about my children. I think that is just,
it's crossing the line a little bit.
That is crossing the line. My children are not up for discussion, especially on a public platform such as this. You got to keep some kind of barrier there.
Like, we have discussed our kids minimally.
Yeah. Like, at one point, I didn't even want to, tell my kids' names. But I know I slipped up at one point and said it, and I was like, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
So, but as far as, what their ages are, I did have somebody ask, about their zodiacs, which, to me, is cool. But considering, I don't know why you want to know, I'm not going to answer that. If it's just me and you talking, or me and somebody else or whatever, and they're like, oh, what are your kids? And I'm like, oh yeah, so and so. But for somebody to randomly on an anonymous platform be like, hey, what are your kids zodiac? You could be a murderer.
We've been listening to y'all's stories about sex and stuff. Let me ask about your kids.
Yeah, that's weird. Got to keep a fine line there, because something like this, I just don't want my kids to be a discussion. No. I can tell stories about my kids that I think are funny, but I draw the line at the information. But I will say though, I enjoyed doing this questionnaire. I I think we could actually do this again sometime. You know.
I like how you say questionnaire.
How did I say it?
Questionnaire.
Is that not how you say it?
No.
How do you say it?
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire?
Yeah.
That's not the way it's spelled.
Mm-mm.
Questionnaire.
Because English.
Questionnaire?
Look,
That don't even sound right.
Pony and baloney rhyme, okay? And they're not spelled anywhere close to being the same. So, yeah.
What else? I read a thing on Twitter, and it was like something rhyme, or oh my God, I remember there was this one post I seen on Twitter, and it was like, how do you say DATA? Do you say it DATA or DATA? And the way I read it,
Is it data or data?
do you say it data or data?
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a comment is like, wild of you to assume the way that I spelled it the first time around when I read this, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, like, why?
Mm-hmm. English, man. English is hard. I'm so glad that it's my first language, because I'd probably seriously off myself if I had to learn English.
They say it's actually the hardest language to learn, which I find that hard to believe because I'm learning Russian, and Russian is a motherfucker. There are specific ways to greet people, like the way that you would greet, like, this person
Like
is
people
not
are formal and informal.
yeah
greetings.
like that. Like if you say, hey, how are you, that is not formal.
Mm-hmm.
It's, hello, my name is, how are you doing? And it is completely like none of the words are even spelled or written the same as the other way. And it's so fucking difficult to learn. So whenever they say that English is the hardest, which I get it, because like they or there and there.
Mm-hmm.
Or
your and your.
Yes.
2 and 2. Data and data.
Or the I've seen some people spell hour as R, A-R-E.
Oh yeah.
That kind of drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the ways to spell specific names.
Yeah.
You got the way you spell Hannah, the way you spell Caitlin, the way you spell Destiny.
Or McKinley. Oh God.
Or Mackenzie. Kaylee. Fucking.
It's, man.
I've even seen the name Raven spelled 3 different fucking ways.
Oh, how do you spell Raven differently?
One was the way you normally spell it.
Uh-huh.
Then there was one that was Ravyn.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then there was one that was Raivyn.
Okay.
That one was what really threw me. Because it's like, what? Or any name with Lee in the end.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm. Gosh.
I probably should have I had another topic planned out for when we got done answering these questions. Oh my God. Well, I guess that's going to be it for today.
Okay.
We definitely, I don't know. I hope this episode was not boring, because I did not have this planned out very well. I was expecting this questionnaire to take a little bit longer than expected, or than what it did. So, anyways, well, yeah, if you guys ever think of any other questions, you can feel free to DM us, and we will get them answered as soon as we can. And luckily, I'm glad that we're here on Sunday.
Yeah.
We're back on schedule, back on routine.
Had a really slow night last night, so not super tired.
Yeah. So hopefully we can keep up with the Sundays.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is going to be it for today, and we will see you guys next Sunday.
See you later.